Well, we're back.
We are back. Welcome back to PassionPod.
I know, it's been a while.
I know, it has been. And for those who don't know, I'm Lauren Olsen, the Director of Development at PassionFlix.
And I'm Tosca Musk. I'm the founder and CEO of Passionflix, and occasionally I direct some movies.
Yes, you do. And we usually have our head of marketing and PR, Allie Whitaker, here with us, but she is very sick. And so she will be on next week's episode instead.
Yeah, she's quite sad to be missing this.
I know she is. She's like, we're finally filming it, and then I'm not there. But it's all good. So this is a brand new format for us.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of the Zoom podcast that we recorded during the pandemic.
This feels very professional.
It feels very
I know. Kind of exciting.
I'm trying not to bump the microphone.
Have you noticed, like, we have, like, branded stuff?
They
have my mug.
You do, yes. No, it looks awesome. And I'm super excited because it won't be shitty computer audio anymore. It'll be very nice.
Did you just swear?
Oh, I'm so sorry. It won't be computer audio anymore.
Just made this R-rated.
I know. I never know if you can swear or not on podcasts. That's a good point.
I think that you can say that word maybe twice, and then the other word not at all.
Right. Yes. But
I'm not sure. So, what are we talking about today?
Well, a few things. For starters, what's nice about an in-person podcast setup is that we could potentially take it on the road, or we can have guests come in and talk to us. But also, our lovely Joe has this setup where we can have people Zoom in as well to talk to us. So that'll be exciting. So we are planning to have some guests.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That'll be exciting. Authors and actors.
Yes. Authors, actors, the works. Maybe we might even have this at premieres or even like PassionCon. Like the world's our oyster with this setup. It's nice.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. And we're also going to have, on top of that, more fan interactions. We're planning to set up a phone number that fans can call and leave voicemails on, of just like, and then we can listen to them and answer their questions.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That'd be interesting.
Real podcast, right?
Yeah.
And but in the meantime, I think we're going to have people email stuff in, like if they have any fan art they want to show and stuff like that, and then we can show it off during the podcast.
I love it. And there's so much fan art, especially with the Black Dagger Brotherhood coming up. I mean, have you seen some of that art? It's incredible.
No, I've seen some of the Rage art in particular with the dragon tattoo and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see all the other fan art that people come up with, or fan art we just haven't come across yet because we're still getting into it.
Yeah.
So the other things we're going to talk about today are the movies that we've released since our last Passion Pod, because our last Passion Pod was July 2023, I believe. And I know it was right after we had premiered the first Gabriel's Redemption in
Oh my gosh.
London. I know. So since that Passion Pod, we've released the other two parts of Gabriel's Redemption. We've released Wallbanger, The Air He Breathes, A Man's Promise, Lick, and A Lover's Vow.
Significant.
Yes.
Plus a whole bunch of Tosca talks.
And
7 minutes.
And 7 minutes. And we had a bunch of PassionCon content go up on the website as well. But the PassionCon and Tosca Talk stuff we're going to talk about in the next episode.
Oh.
So that you and Allie can vibe on it some more.
Yeah, that's actually really good. PassionCon 7,000 years ago.
It feels so long ago, but I think this month it'll be just a year ago. No. Feels so much longer ago.
A lot has happened.
But so if you don't mind going back to get Gabriel's Redemption to talk about that.
Mine? No, that would be wonderful.
I know, because we talked about it a little bit in the last Passion Pod, but it'll be nice to dive into a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Since it's been so long. Remind people that it was the complete trilogy of those three. So Gabriel's Redemption marks the conclusion of the Gabriel's series films. How do you approach these final chapters to ensure a satisfying and emotional conclusion for the fans?
Well, we worked on it for so many years, and so how I approached it in the same way that I approached the other ones, which is speaking with Sylvain Renard, emailing, and then working with the actors. I mean, we have Melanie and Julio who were so committed to those roles, and they just dove in, and they knew exactly what they needed to do. They'd lived these roles for 5 years. So it actually wasn't that hard. The difference with Gabriel's Redemption was that we went to Oxford, and that was incredible to be able to film in Magdalen College, and I think we talked about that before, but to be able to go and experience a whole new world of art and history was incredible, and I think that both Melanie and Julio, and then myself as well, really relished in being in that kind of
Yeah.
environment, and we were able to uh, tap into the beauty because there's so much beauty in Gabriel's redemption, and I think that the surroundings that we were in
Yeah.
sort of lent to that
Yeah. No, I
as
love
well.
that. And speaking of Julia and Melanie,
Yeah.
they had some pretty incredible chemistry on
Yeah.
this whole series. Can you reflect a little bit about bringing their characters to life and what they brought to the table specifically for the roles?
Well, I mean, when it comes to Julio, I mean, basically, I think that he could. I've used this phrase before, but I think that he could have chemistry with a paper bag.
Yeah.
He's so lovely. It's the Italian um, thing that he has. So he definitely um, he's not shy when it comes to chemistry, but he's also very respectful.
Yeah.
So it made it very easy.
Mhm.
And with regards to Melanie, Melanie is incredibly professional, highly dedicated,
So good.
um, and immediately connected with Julio, and they became such good friends. And I think the friendship uh, between the two of them really helped with the chemistry. I think
Yeah.
if you like each other as friends, you can, and you feel safe and you
Mhm.
feel comfortable, then you have a lot of chemistry. And especially with someone like Julio, who is, Latin and has that that incredible sex appeal.
Yeah.
Um, and he knows how to touch a woman. Oftentimes on other shows,
Oh, yeah.
I would have to like teach guys how to
What
touch
did
a woman.
what did we call that again? The
Uh, oh, are we talking about with Michael Rourke?
Yeah.
Bear paw and porcelain touch.
But we
But no,
also
that was with
called
Tyler.
but we called it something too, the Tosca
Porce
School
Oh, the
for
Tosca School for Gentlemen Callers. Yes. That was Tyler. Tyler Johnson
came up with
coined
that,
that one,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so we have porcelain touch and we have like different ways of describing how to touch a woman.
Yeah.
And that is not needed when it comes to Julio.
Yeah.
Julio is just like, I know how to do this. He
The
can just,
Italians know the language of love for
he just,
sure, yeah.
I mean, it's like if I tried to explain it to me, like, no, 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 I've got this. And he
Exactly.
did. And I'm like, Melanie, how do you feel? She's like, he's got it. He's got it. It's not a problem. So how do we approach the chemistry? It was basically just allowing them the freedom to become close friends. We spent so much time together, and we were really like family,
Yeah.
which was lovely.
Didn't
And
Melanie spend one Christmas with you and your
yeah,
kids? Yeah.
Melanie spent the first Christmas that we worked together. She spent Christmas with me and the kids instead of going back to Australia, and that was so much
Yeah, I
fun.
love that.
And then, of course, we worked together all through COVID. So, when you're
Yeah.
not allowed to really see anyone else and they're in your pod, then you get to know each other pretty well.
Absolutely.
And it was really the first time. It was after filming Gabriel's Inferno, because during Gabriel's Inferno, actors she was very cautious about what she ate, and she was being, just like she was had a very strict routine and things like that. And then as soon as we finished Gabriel's Inferno, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but we went to Rome, and
Yeah.
Julio told us where to go, and we went to this buffet. I've never seen such a small person eat so much food. She ate so much off that buffet. I was like, wow.
Oh my
Like, I
goodness.
didn't even think that you ate. So after that, I was like, okay, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's
Years of lots of eating.
years of lots of eating. I love that. And speaking of Italy,
Yeah.
one of your favorite you've talked about this before, but one of your favorite memories was filming in the Uffizi when no one else was there.
Yeah.
Like
Pussycat.
I know it was the pandemic, but we got kind of lucky with a few of the filming we got to do with this whole series even.
Yeah, well, during the pandemic, because obviously difficult time for everybody, the streets were basically closed
Yeah.
in Florence, and so we got to film all over Florence with no one else there, which was almost like making it a backlot. It was almost like the
Yeah.
set for us.
Yeah.
And anybody that was on the streets were actually extras that we brought out. So
Right.
it was an incredible experience. And then going to film in the Uffizi Gallery, I mean, that was awe-inspiring.
Did we go back 3 times? Was it It was Gabriel's Inferno and then Gabriel's Redemption, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. So we have it at the end of Gabriel's Inferno,
Mhm.
and
And the
then
start of Rapture.
the start of
Oh my
Rapture.
god, we did do it to all 3.
The fact that we were allowed to put a portrait of,
I
our
know.
Julia
I know.
in, um, in, Botticelli's gallery. I mean, it was it was
I know.
amazing.
When do you ever get to do that?
No, it was, you know, it was incredible, absolutely incredible, and I'm so grateful to that I'm so grateful for that experience, um, and yeah, really grateful that Sylvain Renaud gave us the opportunity to make those books into
Yeah.
movies so that we got to go there, and then that we actually made the decision as a company to travel. Like, we're a
Yeah.
small
We're
company.
small,
It was not easy.
but we have filmed on location more than I think most people do,
Yeah.
and that's pretty incredible.
It was so important to really convey this art
Mhm.
to all of our viewers and to the people that really love these books. We
Yeah,
want to make sure that that's what we can show. You
exactly.
read it in the book, this is what we can show. So we
Exactly.
try very hard.
Yeah. And so what's one thing you hope that fans can take away from the whole Gabriel series?
Well, love is important. Forgiveness is important. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others, understanding, communication, very important. Um, Redemption.
Mhm.
Um, that there is a place for art in your life.
Mhm.
I hope that people watch all of the Gabriel series and are inspired to
Yeah.
travel to Italy, to travel to England, to go and explore some of these incredibly beautiful places that we
Yeah.
got to explore and
Mhm.
spend time in. Um, and if not, if you don't get the opportunity to go there, take the time to even go online and look at some of the
Yeah.
art and
Yeah.
experience that online. So many of these things are online,
Yeah.
and learn about it. I think it's important.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, the Gabriel series is about um, love, connection, understanding, communication, um, and forgiveness.
And I one of my favorite parts of that whole series is the fact that they had met before and they got
Yeah,
kind of a second chance,
yeah.
and that's so nice too. What's from the looking back at the whole Gabriel saga, what's one thing you're particularly proud of?
I'm so proud that we were able to go to Italy and film in the Uffizi Gallery.
Yeah. No, that was huge.
I'm exceptionally proud of the fact that we as a small company during some of the most difficult times
Mm.
were able to travel the world and bring what was in those books to life.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, so I know we love the cast. What was it like seeing so many of the cast reunite at PassionCon?
Are the best. I mean, this cast again was with us for 5 years, and the fact that they were all there, yeah, it's wonderful. Every time I see them all together, it's phenomenal, and
Yeah,
I love that they have a relationship and
I know.
they stay in contact,
Yeah.
and that when they see each other, they get excited too.
Yeah, no, it's super special. It was really fun to see. I also love when, old leading men meet the new leading men, or, like when they
Yeah,
all get to interact together, and
yeah,
leading ladies too. They've all become such good friends with each other from the different movies, and I think
yeah.
that's incredible, the little Passionflix family we formed.
All the Passionflix ladies are definitely besties,
Oh
which
my
is
gosh,
great.
they're awesome. I know some of them were even besties before even getting the roles, which
Yeah,
is then so interesting because it's like we're just hiring all the friends, and
yeah.
it's
I'm
awesome.
actually totally okay with that.
Yeah, no, me too. I love it. And so, and we released the last 2 parts of Gabriel's Redemption in, I think it was October and then December of
23?
23.
Yeah.
And then but also right around that same time, we were filming Wallbanger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we filmed Wallbanger, and then we released Wallbanger in April 24. So I figured we could talk a little bit about Wallbanger, which is the other
Okay.
one you directed. It has such a fun and flirtatious energy. What was your vision with bringing Alice Clayton's story to life on screen?
Wow, that was a tough one because so much of that book is inside Carolyn's
Yeah.
head,
Mhm.
and so when you're trying very hard to get into somebody's head, it's on visually, you have to have an actress that can portray that.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
Kelly obviously was phenomenal in that role. She was
So
so
good.
good.
So good.
Um, you know what? The interesting thing about Wallbanger, because it's so much in her head, yeah, we had to bring in some voiceover.
Mhm.
Not too much, but we needed to bring in some voiceover. And then I wanted to try and see if I could have this internal vision
Oh,
of
yeah.
her and her O. Like, how do we actually portray the O? Because when I read the book, I saw it as a character.
Mhm.
It was so important. And so, yeah, so we created this. We went into her mind, and
I'm glad.
had her do the little dancing
Yeah.
O,
Yes.
which was I thought
It
hilarious.
was hilarious. And I'm glad you're bringing this up because it's one of my favorite, like, meta moments almost within the Passionflix universe of what was this idea you had for her fantasy sequence where we couldn't use, like, the Brad Pitt or the Jared Leto from the
It was,
book?
well, it wasn't Brad Pitt. It was, they had George Clooney from ER,
Oh, yeah.
Jared Leto from My So-Called Life,
Mhm.
and then Matt Damon from uh one of his early action movies.
Nice, yes.
And I was like, well, been a few years.
Yeah.
I don't think it's appropriate to have them. Also, it'd be probably very hard to get them.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
and
busy.
they're busy, and also, a lot older.
Yes.
So probably not appropriate.
Right.
And so, but also, I really love the idea of having our romance actors in there,
Mhm.
our
Our leading
actors in
men.
there, our leading men in there,
Mhm.
because they are our Passionflix men. I love them so much, and how much fun it is to work with them. So I emailed Jeremy, Andrew, and Michael, and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" They all immediately responded with, "Yes,
Yep.
yes, that'd be so great." And
And
so
they had so much fun.
they had so much fun. Flew them out here to Atlanta, and we created this uh fantasy sequence in a day, and it was, I mean, I think it was the best. It was so much fun to do. Um,
My favorite was the ad lib line you created of, she
yes,
said,
blonde
"Yes,
Colton.
yes, blonde Colton Donovan," because the actor Michael Rourke is really blonde, but we dyed his hair so dark for Colton, but we couldn't do that just for a one-off, so blonde Colton
I
Donovan.
know. Had to.
So good.
It was so much fun. And again, really great for Kelly to dive in to that
Yeah, yeah.
sequence. She did it all in one day. She's like, "Hi,
I
hi,
know.
random
"Hi,
strangers."
just met you. Let's do these things." Yeah, I love that. It was great, and it was so good to see those boys again.
So great.
They're awesome people. And so speaking of Kelly and like so the casting of Caroline and Simon was pretty crucial for the film's
Yeah.
success because we always try to make sure that the cast we find are pretty perfect for the roles.
Yeah.
What was it about these actors that made them perfect for those roles?
When I saw all of Kelly's work
Yeah.
in general, I just saw all of her work, and I just loved it. I thought she was a great actress, and I wanted to work with her. And so it was just basically a straight offer.
Yeah.
Suggested to Alice Clayton, I was like, "This is who I think is going to play the best Caroline," and she agreed. And then we made the offer, and she accepted. So I was
Yeah.
like, "That
Love
works."
that. No, that's awesome.
And with Amadeus, we'd seen him. He had auditioned for um The Secret Life of Amy
Oh my
Benson,
God, I
actually.
forgot about that.
And then I had a
Yeah.
meeting with him, and we had a Zoom back then about it to, see if he was a good, if was a Liam. But
Mhm.
he has more of a sort of cheeky
Yeah.
characterization to him, like a and so it didn't work out for Secret Life of Amy Benson.
Right.
But then when we were casting this, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I think Allie even said, "What about Amadeus?" And I was
Yeah.
like, yes, he was so perfect,
So
and he was such a great actor, and so I really wanted to work with him. So we're like, let's reach out to him and see if he'd be interested in this one, and he was,
yeah.
which is great.
No, that was so fun.
Yeah.
And they were great together.
They were
It was
great
so
together.
fun to see them on set. Even between takes, they were
Yeah.
having fun with each other, and that
Yeah.
was awesome. Do you have some favorite memories from set or any fun stories to share?
We had 3 cats, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. That's really hard to work with cats. They were great cats, but it's very hard to work with cats.
No, anytime I see cats in a movie, I'm like, how the heck did they even train them?
No,
Because
it's a lot of work.
they're
It's a
very
lot of
hard
work.
to train. Yeah.
But there were so many funny moments. I think that I really enjoyed our time in Spain. So another time we went
Yes.
to Nerja, which is where they go in the book. It's another one of those examples of, like, let's go to the place where they
Mhm.
actually visit.
You also went to San Francisco too.
We did.
Yeah. That's
So that was really great, going to Nerha and spending time with Kelly and Amadeus at the very beginning of
so
the
like that
shoot.
was first up,
That
right?
was the
That's what.
first up. So they barely knew each other. And I was like, here we go. We're going to be in Spain. It's the
It's the
beginning
end
of
of
the
the
shoot.
movie,
And you
basically.
guys love each other. And they're like, hello, how are you? Very nice to meet you.
Hmm.
And so that was fun, but it was a great way to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I just remember, uh, you know, the food was so exceptional, and
Oh
of
yeah.
course actors are on these like they eat very specifically, and so Dennis, the DP, and I, we would like just thoroughly enjoy all the food, and the actors were like
Oh,
just looking at
we'll
it.
just munch here and there on our stuff. I know. Oh,
Um, but yeah, I would say that uh, the travel to Spain was an incredible time together, and that was a great adventure. And then going to San Francisco, that was another great adventure, and that was great because that was when I got to meet all the rest of the cast.
yeah.
That was the first time I got to work
I
with
know.
all of the other actors, all the supporting actors.
Because you shot the very end of the movie there, right? The scene on the terrace where they're eating dinner or something right after Spain.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yes, the yes, with Rosalind Sanchez and Ryan McPartlin.
Yes.
Yes, that dinner. Yeah, that was fun. Um, those were crazy 2 days. So we were filming that, and it never rains, and it rained on our day when everything was outdoors.
Of course.
And
Of course it
so
did.
we were just going back and forth between inside and outside,
Oh.
trying to finish shooting those scenes as it was raining. Stopped raining, then we'd go back outside and shoot there, and then we'd come back inside and continue to shoot. And
Oh my
it's just like,
goodness. The stuff we do to bring content to you guys.
I know. But
Um,
also the funny thing is, do you know the kiss slap scene?
yes.
So that wasn't shot in San Francisco.
You're
That scene was shot at the end of
The
the
shoot.
shoot in Atlanta.
I know, but you married it so well in
Heck,
the edit.
yeah.
It's
Well, that was the
wild.
art department helping us to
Yeah.
recreate that set. But
That worked out really well.
yeah, I know. So it's very interesting when you're filming things, like how many things take place in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And
that was hard.
how it's all shot out of order for the most part.
Well, shot.
That's one of the funniest parts of when we have like founding and signature members come to visit that they're like, "Oh, you guys like do multiple takes, like multiple angles of the same scene,
Yeah,
and you're filming these all different days. Like,
yeah.
how do you keep track of it all?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's why we have certain departments. Like, it
That's
all."
why we have Carlos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Carlos, our lovely line producer slash first AD,
Yeah,
and then the script supervisor helps as well with the continuity
yeah,
stuff. I love everything about film and making movies, but it's fun when people who have nothing to do with
yeah,
the industry coming in and being like, "Whoa,
yeah.
this is what it's like."
It's a lot of work. I've had friends come to set and they're like, "Oh, can I come visit you on set?" And I was like, "Sure." And then they will come and they'll sit behind Video Village and they'll watch, and I'll be like, "Okay, and action." And then I was like, "Okay, that's great, and let's do it again." And action, and then we do it again. Okay. And now we're gonna do it again. And they're like, "What is going on? How many times do you do this?" I'm like, "Oh, until we get it right."
Until we get it right,
And then
until it feels good.
then we turn around, we go and we turn the camera on to the other actor. And they're like, "What? You're doing the same scene again?" Yeah. This whole day will
Welcome
just
to
be
a
that
world.
scene
Yep.
over and over again.
Yep, exactly. It's too funny. And so what was really special about when we released this film, we actually premiered it first at PassionCon.
I know. That was so
At our
great.
pajama premiere.
I know.
Can you talk about what that was like?
It was really great. I had this really cute pink silk pajama
It's
set.
great.
And as we sat down just before watching the movie, Amadeus spilt a whole glass of red wine all over my pajamas. I'm so glad it was after the pictures were taken.
Yeah,
But yeah,
after the red carpet.
he's like handing stuff, and then he just poured it right onto my leg.
Sure he didn't mean. Sure it was an accident. Oh
I
my
think that he
goodness.
did it on purpose.
Oh my gosh. I completely missed that because I was sitting somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think I realized till after. And I was like, "Are you in a different pair of pants?"
Yeah. And so if you look at the Wallbanger premiere pajama premiere party, at the beginning I'm wearing that pink outfit.
Mhm.
And then right afterwards I'm wearing black pants.
Okay, yes, that's what I was like, "What's going on right now?" I also loved at the premiere. It's always fun because we get the full audience experience, any premiere we do, because it's full of Passionflix fans and
Yeah.
fans of the book, and they just get to fully immerse themselves in the premiere experience, and it's
So
wonderful. But I loved my favorite part of the whole movie was them reacting to the fantasy sequence that they didn't know was coming, and they freaked out. They lost their minds. They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Uh,
it's Jeremy, it's Chase, it's, it's
yeah.
Andrew, it's Miles,
Yeah.
it's Michael, it's Colton. Oh my gosh!" Like
Yeah.
oh,
That was the
high
best.
five. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. That
That
was
was
awesome.
my
The
favorite part.
whole like listen, PassionCon pajama premieres are probably the most fun premieres that exist.
Yeah, no, they're
Um,
great.
so
And I
it's
love
really
that
fun.
it was your idea to have the pajama premiere, and I think that's so fun. I'll never get over from the first Passion Con. I think it was Melanie and
Oh,
Olivia who showed up in
ball
what we
gowns.
would say was ball gowns, but they sent you selfies after to prove that they
Slept in
actually
these
slept in
outfits.
them.
Yeah,
They're pajamas, Tosca.
exactly. It
Yeah.
was, what did Olivia say? She goes, if the Met Gala was pajama.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I love that take on it. And so we had some other movies release after Redemption and Wallbanger, which was great. We
Yeah.
did The Air He Breathes, released
Yeah.
in August 2024
Yeah.
by Brittany Cherry. Love that story.
So
And
beautiful.
we also had it directed by Rachel Annette Helson.
Yes.
And I thought we could talk about getting to work with some more female directors, which I think is cool that we do that
Yeah.
as a company. We prioritize female filmmakers.
Yeah.
And so we worked with 3 different ones aside from you in 2024. So I thought that was pretty cool because you got to see Rachel on set.
Yep, I was with Rachel on set, and then Lane Shefter Bishop on A Man's Promise and a Lover's Vow.
Yeah.
And then Louise Alston, who came back and she did Lick for us.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all fabulous, and so this is our first time working with Rachel for The Air He
Yeah.
Breathes.
Yeah.
She is so dedicated, and I actually was introduced to her, I think even a couple of years before that.
Right.
And when I met her, and saw her work, it was very clear that a story like The Air He Breathes is perfect for her. She has a very delicate hand. She has an incredible sensitivity to filming loss and reconnection. And so she was always top of my list for The Air He
Yeah,
Breathes.
I love
So
it.
I'm so glad and when I first met her and I talked about it, she got the book, she read it,
Oh,
she came back
awesome.
immediately saying, yes, this is the type of story that I love to make.
Yay.
And so I'm really, really grateful to her for accepting it
Yeah.
and for making a phenomenal movie.
She did a great job.
Really beautiful
Yeah.
movie. So lovely.
And we had an incredible cast on that one with Kelsey Stranahan as Liz, Ryan Carnes as Tristan,
Yeah.
Charlotte Ann Tucker as Emma,
I know, so great.
Presley Coker as Tanner, and then Jessica Craig as Faye.
Yeah.
They were just all fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous.
And it was, I'm really glad we got to make that story come to life.
So just talking about Jessica.
Yeah.
All right. So her boyfriend
Oh, yes.
is Kellen
Mm-hmm.
from the Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Yes. Who does Kellen play, by the way?
He plays Havers.
Yes.
And what's so funny is that we hadn't announced any of the cast, and we were in LA for the premiere of The Air He Breathes.
And they came, yeah.
And so Jessica is invited. She's there, and so great. And then suddenly I see Kellen. I'm like, hi, what are you doing here? Oh my God. And he's like, I'm here with Jessica. And I was like, oh God, we haven't announced the cast yet. And he's like, I know, I'm kind of hoping that I got it. I was like, you got it. I mean, shh, don't tell
So you
anybody.
had to tell him in that moment. I don't think I realized.
I think he knew.
Yeah.
We just, no contracts had been signed, or I don't know what had happened at that particular. I think we were just waiting. There was like no announcements, and everything was like, I think we had to pin everybody because the dates hadn't been set. I don't know what the rules were. There were rules involved, but I was like, it's definitely you. It's definitely you. But shh, don't tell anybody. And it was like that secret that I was holding for that event, and he was as well. And we're like, hey, hi. And trying to avoid each other's gaze.
No, I love it.
And I was like, this is Jessica's night.
No, I think it's
so that
so
was
cute
funny.
that they're together and that they're both now in part of the PassionFlix universe. Like, what? That's so funny.
So great.
That.
But yeah, so beautiful movie, and just an incredible cast. Very grateful to all of them. They really committed, and yeah, lovely experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Very grateful to Brittany Cherry for
I know.
that
I'm
opportunity as
obsessed with
well.
her, and she got to come to the set.
I
She
know.
really enjoyed being there. She and Rachel became, like, besties while
I
on the
know.
set,
I loved
and
it.
I saw some of the crew coming up to her, like, with the Post-it notes the characters give to each other. They went up to Brittany, and they were like, "Do you like this handwriting? Do that we were
Yeah,
thinking this Post-it handwriting and color for this actor and
yeah,
this one for this actor." And she was like, yeah, it's amazing." Like,
yeah,
she got so much input, and I loved that. It was just fun, and I'm glad she could be there and really
yeah.
experience it. And then we also did, we filmed A Man's Promise and A Lover's Vow back to back,
We
which
did.
which is awesome because we had been meaning to finish out that series since A Brother's Honor, and I love A Brother's Honor, and I'm
Yeah,
glad we got to bring basically everybody back together
yeah,
for that, the
like,
whole gang, all the brothers,
yeah,
and we even brought Lane Shefter Bishop back to
yeah,
direct those 2, which was great, and
yeah.
you stopped by set and you got to be part of the wedding scene?
I know, that was great. I got to
Yeah.
see Brenda, and it was in the wedding. I was there for the day when they filmed, Caden coming in, to see Shiloh in the wine shop, and he
Mm,
says,
such a
"A
good scene.
man's promise," and I was like, "Oh
Mhm.
my god, I'm here for that day."
For
That
that
was
day.
so exciting.
That's so special. I know whenever they get to say the title, it's such a
Yeah,
special moment. I
it
love
was
that.
really great. I'm so happy with those movies, and I'm so glad, it was very hard to try and get all of those actors together
I
all at
know.
the same time,
Yeah.
and so when you're trying to schedule something, so when we finally when we were finally able to, put them all to, block them all out and
Yeah.
have all of them available, we're shooting both movies back to back,
Yep, we're not
and
losing this chance, we're
no,
just getting it done, yeah.
yeah,
I'm really glad we did
me
that, and
too.
I love that they all got to come together again, and they were
Yeah,
hanging out again, and
yeah.
it was so special. I love Brenda Jackson, and I'm really glad
She was
she
so
gave
great.
us
Yes.
that series,
Yeah.
and we got to see it all the way through.
Yes.
So satisfying, and we had an amazing cast of, Jeremy Batiste as Jace, who
Love
showed up
him.
for the fantasy, Celestine Rey as Shayna, Michael Marcel as Caden, Jasmine Johnson as Shiloh, Robert Christopher Riley as Dalton, and Dana Dooley as Jules.
Yes.
And that was really cool. And I love that with each story, it focused on different brothers. So we had
Yeah.
kind of different leads for each one. That's always
I
fun.
know, I love that.
All did a great job. And then we also had Lick by
Yes.
Kylie Scott, directed by Louise Alston. And Louise directed 2 other projects for us.
She did. She did The Will,
Mhm.
and she did Resisting Roots.
Yeah, no, I love her. She's been great. And so she came in and we had Brooke Lee as Evelyn,
Yeah.
Travis Burns as David, Eric Brody as Jimmy, Joseph McNabb as Mal, and Zach Mines as Ben, which was awesome. It was
Yeah.
really cool to see the band come
Yeah.
together. And I love that we created original songs for the
Yeah.
series, which there's a vinyl and
There
the
is.
songs are available
Yeah.
where you get music. Um, and that was just a really cool experience that we got to do that.
That
And
was a great experience, and Mike Carpenter, who works with PassionFlix,
yeah.
he's our director of music here, and he and I sat down, oh gosh, 2 years before we
Yeah.
even started this,
Mhm.
because I read Lick during COVID.
Yeah, we both read it, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And, it takes a while to get things going, I know, I'm sorry.
it's
But
okay.
2 years prior, Mike and I sat down, we're like, "Okay, we're gonna create a band.
Yeah,
We're gonna create the music," and, his directive, "Go out there,
yeah,
write, work with a team, write some great songs that we can actually, have in this movie."
yeah,
And because a lot of times when we write lyrics or when we see lyrics in books, we can't necessarily use them because
right,
they belong to somebody else,
exactly.
and the songs belong to somebody else, so we can't use them because we don't have the rights to them.
Yeah,
So we have to write our own
exactly.
songs. That's just basically the world of
But
music. It's very confusing.
yeah, but he and the team that he found did a great job, and,
Amazing.
they kept even the lyrics as close as they could,
Yes.
which I thought was really special, and Mike got the chance to go on set, and he also made sure the actors could play the instruments right, which I know
Yep.
sometimes when you have a band movie, if they can't play the instrument, that's an immediate sign that this isn't real, and so I love that he got to go and help instruct them and kind of be a guiding force for them, and they loved working with him, so that was just I love that we took
Yeah.
those steps and did all of that, that was
Yeah,
cool.
really, really very helpful. Mike also got so many of the instruments
He
donated
did,
to,
yes, yeah,
or as a yeah,
all the guitars
all
and
the
stuff,
guitars,
yeah,
all the drum kit, all that sort of stuff donated to the show,
which was
which
awesome,
made it look even
even
more
better, yeah, I forgot about that
realistic.
part, that was great.
So that was really,
Yeah,
really great. And the music I think is fabulous.
it's
Like I
fabulous. If
love
you
these
haven't listened
songs.
to it, you have to go
Yeah,
listen to it because
really
they're
great.
wonderful.
We're bringing in the same company to work with to work with us to write songs for Beauty from Pain.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And Louise,
Yeah.
I just love working with her. And Kylie didn't get to go to set, but she still got to interact, and
Yeah.
it was fun for her to see the movie release and see fan
Well,
reactions.
it's kind of funny because they're all Australian.
I know they are. Louise is
So-
Australian, so are Brooke and Travis. Yeah.
And so is Kylie.
Yeah.
So they all met in Australia.
Yeah.
And then we brought them all here to America to film as Americans, which was,
Exactly. But I am glad they got to go and do that.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And we also had a little mini premiere of sorts in Australia at the
Yeah.
Blush Romance
Yeah.
Festival, which was really
sold out.
special.
I mean, 2 theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you haven't seen any of those movies, you should go
Yeah.
watch them right now, because it was really exciting that we got to release. We released a good amount in 2024.
Yeah, we did. And, and that was quite hard actually, because as everybody knows, we had strikes the year before. So we weren't able to shoot the last 6 months of the year before, except for we got that one exclusion with
With
Wallbanger.
Wallbanger, we did before shooting. We got
Yeah.
the
And so
exclusion,
when actors aren't allowed to perform because of their right to strike, it's very hard to make movies. So I actually really am impressed that we were able to come back and film so much during that year. And so of course we're still, catching up, and we'll be able to do even more this year. And this year we have the Black Dagger Brotherhood coming out. We have Beauty from Pain coming out. We have a couple more that I haven't announced yet, but
yes, don't
only
get in trouble
because
with
Ali
Ali.
will get really mad at me if I do.
Exactly.
And so I keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get into more of that stuff in part 2 of our catch up, which will be the next episode where Ali will be able to join us.
Sounds good.
We'll also get into Tosca Talks.
Okay,
there, 'cause
fun.
That's another thing we filmed in 2024. Was this Tosca Talk series that you star in.
So it was fun.
And we'll also chat more about PassionCon, that was like for Puerto Rico, and then maybe even where the next PassionCon might be.
Well, Ellie and I are
Still figuring that out.
Still figuring that out, but I think we have a really great contender, and we're going to go and visit next week.
Ooh, okay, that's exciting. And I just wanted to reiterate one more time that we're going to have a phone number eventually for people to call in on.
Great.
And leave questions, messages, and all that stuff, and that'll be great. But in the meantime, you can send things to our info@passionflix.com email, which is info@passionflix.com. I read most of those emails, so I'll just flag them for PassionPod, and that'll be fun. And thanks, T, for chatting with me through this new PassionPod episode, new PassionPod setup. Thanks, Joe. This is awesome.
We have our Tosca Talks team over here that's filming us,
for us.
so they're really great. It's
Yeah.
like the family reunion.
Exactly.
Same crew.
I know. Feels
Thank
so
you,
legit.
Lauren. This was a lot of fun.
This was
nice
fun.
to get back. And, there's something really amazing about doing PassionPod, and that is that we work as really fast.
We do.
And we
Freakishly
just-
fast, actually.
We go from one movie to the next, to the next, to the next,
Mhm.
and we rarely take the time to revisit what we've done and consider the amount of work and love that was put into each show, because we're trying to move on to the next one to catch the next one.
Exactly.
And so this kind of experience really helps me remember how wonderful it is to make these movies and why we're making these movies. And it also is fun because then you and I get to spend some time together.
I know. Because right now you get to spend a lot of time with Margie, because, you're editing the Black Dagger Brotherhood
That's
series,
true.
which I know is important, but I
Yeah.
I miss you. So this was fun.
I miss you too.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. That is it for this week, and we will see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.